6 months after the Battle of New Jeju, Earth looked very different. New shipyards orbited the planet, building vessels that would have seemed impossible a year ago. Trade convoys moved freely through council space, no longer harassed or delayed. Human colonies spread across a dozen star systems, each one growing and thriving. Captain Han Taeyang stood in a massive auditorium on Earth, uncomfortable in his formal uniform. Thousands of people filled the seats, all of them cheering. Admiral Minho stood at a podium, giving a speech about courage and sacrifice. Taeyang wished he could disappear, but the invisibility field did not work on individual people. Captain Taeyang and the crew of the Silent Thunder showed the galaxy what humanity is capable of, Minho said to the roaring crowd. They risked everything to protect our people. They proved that we belong among the stars. The crowd stood and applauded. Taeyang managed a small smile and a wave. Beside him, Commander Daeho looked equally uncomfortable with the attention. Lieutenant Sujin seemed to enjoy it more, waving enthusiastically to the crowd. After the ceremony, Taeyang found Minho in a quiet corridor. Sir, with respect, I did my job. My crew did their jobs. We do not need parades, Minho smiled. The people need heroes, Captain. They need to believe that humanity can stand tall in the galaxy. You gave them that belief. Accept the gratitude. I would rather be back on patrol, Taeyang admitted. Soon, Minho promised. But first, there is something you need to see. He led Taeyang to a secure facility outside the city. Inside, Dr. Kang Bora was waiting. She looked tired but excited. Captain, you are just in time. Come with me. They walked through clean white corridors to a massive observation deck. Through the transparent wall, Taeyang could see a construction bay. Inside that bay floated 3 ships. They were similar to the Silent Thunder but smaller and sleeker. Different designs for different purposes. We learned so much from the Silent Thunder, Bora explained. Now we are building the next generation. Stealth frigates for reconnaissance. Stealth cruisers for rapid strike missions. Each one will be invisible like your ship. Within 2 years, Earth will have a full stealth fleet. The Council agreed to this? Taeyang asked. The Council voted to grant Earth full membership rights 3 days after your battle, Minho said. Part of that agreement includes our right to maintain our own military without Council oversight. They cannot tell us what ships to build or not build. Bora pulled up a holographic display. They also agreed to a technology exchange. I have been teaching Council scientists the basic principles of the invisibility field, enough that they understand it is possible, but not enough that they can replicate our most advanced systems. Will they eventually figure it out? Taeyang asked. Probably, Bora admitted. But by then we will be several generations ahead. We are not standing still. Every day we improve the technology. Every day we build something new. The Council called us primitive, Minho said quietly. They thought we were children playing with tools we did not understand. They were wrong. Humans have always been survivors. We adapt, we innovate, we overcome. That is our true strength. Taeyang looked out at the 3 new ships being constructed. What happens when other species develop similar technology? When everyone has stealth ships? Then we will have developed something even better, Bora said with confidence. That is what we do. We stay ahead. Later that day, Taeyang met with his crew at a quiet restaurant. Daeho, Sujin, and Bora sat around a table enjoying food and conversation. They talked about the battle, about the changes in the galaxy, about their plans for the future. The Velkar are being much more polite now, Sujin said with a grin. I saw a news report. High Commander Thex was stripped of his rank and exiled. The Velkar government sent a formal apology to Earth. Can you believe it? They respect strength, Daeho said. We showed them strength. Now they respect us. Do you think the peace will last? Sujin asked. For a while, Taeyang replied. But there will always be another threat. Another species that thinks they can push humanity around. Another crisis that needs to be resolved. Our work is not finished. Good, Sujin said. I joined the military to make a difference. I want to keep making that difference, Bora raised her glass. To the Silent Thunder. To her crew. To humanity's future among the stars. They drank together, friends who had faced death and survived. They had changed the galaxy together. 3 weeks later, Ambassador Lee Gina stood before the Galactic Council one final time, before returning to Earth. The chamber was full, but the atmosphere was respectful. Representatives listened when she spoke. Some even asked for her opinion on various matters. Earth thanks the Council for this opportunity, Gina said. We have been granted full membership rights. Our colonies are recognized. Our trade routes are protected. This is what we asked for from the beginning. It should not have required a battle to achieve it. Overseer Marith nodded. The Council acknowledges that humanity was treated unfairly. We allowed prejudice to cloud our judgment. We saw your differences and called you primitive. We were wrong. You were, Gina agreed. But you learned. The galaxy is changing. New species will continue to join the Council. How will you treat them? Will you judge them fairly? Or will you make the same mistakes you made with us? We will try to do better, Marith said. You have taught us a valuable lesson, Ambassador. Never underestimate a species based on appearances. And never assume that silence means weakness, Gina added. Humans were quiet while we built our strength. Other species may be doing the same. The wise approach is cooperation, not domination. A council member from the Thalax Confederacy stood. Ambassador Gina, before you return to Earth, I have a question. How many stealth ships does humanity truly possess? Gina smiled mysteriously. Enough. That is not an answer, the Thalax representative said. It is the only answer you will receive, Gina replied. Humanity learned that transparency invites exploitation. Some secrets are necessary for survival. The Council will simply have to trust that we will use our capabilities responsibly. And if we do not trust you? Another representative asked. Then you will worry, Gina said simply. And that worry will keep you honest. Fear of the unknown is a powerful motivator for peace. The session ended with formal goodbyes. Gina left the council chamber for the last time as a petitioner. Next time she returned, it would be as a full member, equal to any other species. On the journey back to Earth, she recorded a message for Admiral Minho. Mission accomplished. Earth is recognized as a full council member. Trade rights secured. Military sovereignty confirmed. The Velkar have signed a peace treaty. Other species are requesting diplomatic relationships. We won, Admiral. We really won. Meanwhile, in the darkness of space beyond charted territory, the silent thunder moved silently through the void. Captain Taiyang stood on the bridge watching the stars. The ship was on patrol watching over human space, ready to respond to any threat. Captain, Deho said from his station, we are detecting unusual activity in Sector 7. Unknown ships, possibly scouts. How many? Taiyang asked. 3, maybe 4. They are trying to avoid detection, but our sensors picked them up. Do they know we are here? No, sir. We are invisible to their scans. Taiyang considered his options. These could be pirates, explorers, or advance forces from another hostile species. The galaxy was large, and humanity had only met a fraction of its inhabitants. New threats would always emerge. Move us closer, he ordered. Let us see who they are. But stay cloaked. If they are hostile, they should not see us coming. The silent thunder adjusted course. It slipped through space like a ghost, invisible and silent. On the bridge, the crew worked with practiced efficiency. They had done this before. They would do it again. Sujin monitored her weapons. All systems ready, Captain. Just say the word. Hold fire unless they prove hostile, Taiyang replied. We are watchers, not aggressors. But if they threaten human territory, we will remind them what happens to those who underestimate us. Deho looked at his tactical display. Captain, those ships. They are broadcasting on council frequencies. I think they are a science expedition. Confirmed, the communications officer reported. They are from the Korath Federation, studying stellar phenomena. No weapons detected. Taiyang relaxed slightly. Move us away. Let them continue their work. We have no reason to reveal ourselves. The silent thunder changed course, leaving the science expedition behind. The Korath scientists never knew how close they had come to encountering humanity's most powerful weapon. They continued their research in peace. Hours later, Deho stood beside Taiyang as they watched the stars. Do you think the council really learned its lesson? Deho asked. Some of them did, Taiyang replied. Others will need more convincing. There will always be species that think they are superior. Pride is universal, so we will keep watching. We will keep watching, Taiyang confirmed. That is our purpose. The galaxy sees us as an equal power now, but they do not see everything. The Silent Thunder and her sister ships will remain hidden, protecting humanity from threats that others cannot even detect. Until we are needed again. Until we are needed again, Taiyang agreed. He looked out at the infinite darkness. Somewhere out there, other species were plotting, building, preparing. Some would be friends, others would be enemies. The transport shuttle shook as it docked with Apex 7 station. Taman pressed his face against the window, watching the massive military academy come into view. His heart pounded with excitement and fear. This was it, the Galactic Military Academy, the place where warriors from across the galaxy trained together. First time off Earth? Asked the pilot, a blue-skinned alien with 4 eyes. Yes, sir, Taman replied, gripping his bag tighter. The pilot laughed, but not in a mean way. You'll be fine, kid. Just remember you're representing your whole species now. That thought made Taman's stomach twist. Humans had only joined the galactic community 15 years ago. They were still the newcomers, still proving themselves. The docking process finished and Taman walked into the station. The gravity hit him immediately. It felt heavier than Earth's gravity. His legs struggled with each step. Around him, other cadets moved easily. Some were tall and covered in scales. Others had multiple arms or walked on 4 legs. They all looked strong, powerful, built for war. Taman was just human, average height. 2 arms, 2 legs, nothing special. The orientation hall was enormous. Hundreds of cadets filled the space, representing dozens of species. Taman found a seat near the back, trying not to draw attention. A holographic display appeared at the front, showing Academy statistics. Welcome to Apex 7, a voice boomed. You are the finest warrior candidates in the galaxy. Here you will be tested. Here you will be forged into defenders of civilized space. The statistics scrolled across the display. Physical strength rankings by species, reaction time averages, healing speed. Taman watched the numbers and his heart sank. Humans ranked near the bottom in almost every category. Is that right? Someone said loudly. Humans are that weak. Laughter rippled through the hall. Taman felt his face burn with shame. They come from Earth, another voice said. A low-threat world. No real predators. Easy gravity. They evolved in paradise, more laughter. Taman wanted to disappear. A cadet sitting nearby turned to look at him. The alien had green skin and 6 arms, each one thick with muscle. You're human, right? Yes, Taman said quietly. Good luck, the alien said, but his tone made it sound like an insult. After orientation, Taman found his assigned room. His roommate was already there, unpacking. Another human. The first one Taman had seen since arriving. Hey, the roommate said with a tired smile. I'm Doyen, engineering track. Taman. Combat track. Doyen raised his eyebrows. Combat, brave choice. I heard the physical requirements are brutal. I can handle it, Taman said, trying to sound confident. I hope so, for all our sakes. Doyen sat on his bed. My cousin was here last year. He quit after 3 months. Said the other species treated him like a joke. Taman unpacked in silence, thinking about those words. A joke. Was that what humans were to the galaxy? The next morning, combat assessments began. Commander Thros, a massive reptilian alien with 4 arms, stood in the training arena. His scales were dark red and scars covered his body. He looked like he'd been fighting since birth. Combat is the foundation of military service, Thros announced. Strength, speed, endurance. These qualities separate warriors from weaklings. Today we assess your baseline capabilities. The cadets lined up. One by one they demonstrated their abilities. A Kalthari cadet lifted weights that would crush a human. An Ashkor cadet moved so fast he was nearly invisible. Each display of power drew cheers and approval. Then it was Taman's turn. Name and species, Thros commanded. Taman. Human. From Earth. Whispers spread through the arena. Some cadets laughed. Thros looked at his datapad. Earth, Category 4 world. Low gravity, minimal threats. He looked at Taman with something like pity. This will be interesting. The first test was simple. Lift the weighted bar above your head. Taman approached the bar, set to standard academy weight. He gripped it, pulled with all his strength and barely got it to his chest. His arms shook. The bar felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Next, Thros said flatly. Laughter echoed in the arena. Taman's face burned as he stepped back. The next tests went no better. The sprint course left him exhausted while others barely broke a sweat. The climbing wall defeated him halfway up. By the end, Taman felt completely humiliated. Anyone wish to demonstrate combat techniques? Thros asked. An insectoid alien stepped forward. His name was Venick, and he stood nearly 7 feet tall. His exoskeleton gleamed like black armor and his forearms ended in sharp points. I volunteer to spar with the human, Fennec said. The arena went quiet. Then someone laughed. Soon everyone was laughing. Acceptable, Thross said. Standard rules. First to yield or disable wins. Taman stepped onto the sparring mat. His heart raced. Fennec towered over him, looking down with obvious contempt. Try not to break too easily, Fennec said. The match started. Fennec moved fast, striking with two arms while the other two defended. Taman tried to dodge, but the alien was too quick. A hit to his chest sent him flying backward. He hit the mat hard, gasping for air. Get up, Thross ordered. Taman stood, pain shooting through his ribs. Fennec attacked again. This time Taman blocked one strike, but 3 others got through. He felt something crack in his shoulder. The world spun. Another hit, another. Taman fell again and couldn't get up. Match over, Thross declared. Medical team. As medics carried Taman away, he heard the laughter. Heard the comments. Humans are too weak. What are they even doing here? They'll never survive. That night, back in his room with his arm in a medical wrap, Taman stared at the ceiling. Doyen tried to cheer him up, but nothing helped. His communicator blinked. A call from his sister. Hana's face appeared on the screen. She was older than Taman by 5 years, a lieutenant in the Terran Defense Fleet. I heard about today, she said gently. It was bad, Taman admitted. I know. But listen to me. Hana's voice grew firm. Grandfather always said that strength isn't just about muscles. It's about getting back up when you're knocked down. It's about lasting longer than your enemy expects. They're all stronger than me, Hana. Maybe, but are they tougher? Are they smarter? Can they adapt like you can? She smiled. You're human, Taman. That means something. Don't let them tell you it doesn't. After the call ended, Taman pulled up combat footage on his datapad. He watched how different species fought, studied their movements, their patterns, their weaknesses. If he couldn't overpower them, maybe he could outsmart them. Maybe he could outlast them. Maybe being human was enough. Outside his window, the stars shone cold and distant. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was watching, waiting to see if humans belonged among the warriors of civilized space. Taman closed his eyes, his injured shoulder throbbing. Tomorrow he'd train again. Tomorrow he'd be ready. He wouldn't quit. Humans didn't quit. 3 weeks passed since the humiliating first day. 3 weeks of mockery, failure, and pain. Taman's body was covered in bruises that healed slowly. Too slowly, according to the Academy medical staff. Other species healed from injuries in hours. Humans took days. Another tactical simulation victory for the human, announced the training computer. Taman stepped out of the simulator pod, breathing hard. He'd just completed a fleet battle scenario, commanding forces against a superior enemy. He'd won by using unconventional tactics, sacrificing smaller ships to create openings for his main fleet. Congratulations on your simulation, Commander Thross said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Unfortunately, war is not fought in computers. When real claws tear real flesh, your theories will not save you. The other cadets laughed. Fennec especially seemed to enjoy Taman's continued struggles. Every physical test showed the same results. Humans were weak, slow, fragile. That evening, Doyen burst into their room with his datapad glowing. I found something. Something important. Taman looked up from his homework. What? Information about Earth, real information, not the basic stuff they teach. Doyen's hands shook with excitement. I was researching human evolution for my engineering project, and I found classified galactic survey reports. Classified? From when they first discovered Earth 50 years ago. Doyen pulled up files on the wall display. Look at this. Earth's bacterial diversity is off the charts. Viral load in the environment is 100 times higher than most inhabited worlds. Taman frowned. What does that mean? It means Earth is actually dangerous. Not because of predators, but because of disease. Humans evolved surrounded by millions of harmful microorganisms. Your immune systems are incredible. What would kill most species you just shrug off. That doesn't help me in a fight. Wait, there's more. Doyen scrolled through more data. Look at this. Human oxygen efficiency, lactic acid tolerance, cooling system through sweating. These are persistence hunter traits. Persistence hunter? It means your ancestors chased prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. You couldn't outrun an animal in a sprint, but you could follow it for hours, days even. until it died from heat and fatigue. Doyen's eyes gleamed. Humans are built to never stop, to just keep going when everything else quits. Taman stared at the data. The Academy classified us as low-threat world, because they were looking at the wrong things. They counted predators and gravity. They didn't consider disease load, temperature variations, or endurance evolution. Doyen grinned. Earth is a death world. Just a different kind than they expected. That night, Taman couldn't sleep. His mind raced with possibilities. What if Doyen was right? What if humans had strengths that others couldn't see? He started training differently. Instead of trying to match other species in raw power, he focused on endurance. He ran when others rested. He trained until his muscles screamed, then trained more. He practiced fighting while injured, while exhausted, while every instinct told him to stop. Other cadets noticed his strange training habits. The human trains like he's dying, one cadet said. Maybe he is, another replied. Their species is so weak, but Taman kept going. Day after day, week after week. His body adapted slowly. His endurance grew. He learned to push through pain that would stop other species. Then came the announcement that changed everything. Attention all cadets. Commander Thross's voice echoed through the station. In 2 days, we will conduct the annual survival course. This test separates true warriors from pretenders. The course lasts 30 hours and includes extreme environments, hostile conditions, and predator drones. Only the strongest complete it. Excitement buzzed through the academy. The survival course was legendary. A brutal test that pushed cadets to their absolute limits. No human has ever completed it, Vennick said loudly in the cafeteria. Their species doesn't have the physical capacity. Taman sat alone eating his meal. He listened to the conversations around him. Most cadets were excited. Some were nervous. Many were talking about humans. I heard a human tried it 5 years ago, someone said. Quit after 6 hours. Typical. Weak species from a weak world. Doyen found Taman later that evening. You're not actually thinking about entering, are you? Yes. Taman, it's designed for species twice as strong as humans. The temperature extremes alone could kill you. Maybe. Taman looked at his friend. But maybe I can outlast them. Maybe endurance beats strength. This is crazy. Probably. Taman smiled slightly. But someone has to show them what humans can do. The next morning, Taman submitted his entry for the survival course. Commander Thross looked at him with surprise. You understand the dangers, cadet? Yes, sir. You understand that humans have never completed this course? Yes, sir. Thross studied him for a long moment. Why? Because I'm human, sir. And humans don't quit. Word spread quickly. The human cadet had entered the survival course. Most thought it was a joke. Some thought it was suicide. Vennick announced he would enter too, just to show the difference between a real warrior and a human pretender. Taman called his sister that night. Are you insane? Hannah said, her face tight with worry on the screen. I looked up the survival rates. Even for strong species, 15% don't finish. I know. Then why? Because if I don't try, they'll never respect us. Any of us. Taman met her eyes. You told me grandfather said strength is about getting back up. Well, I'm going to keep getting up until there's nothing left to knock me down with. Hannah was quiet for a moment. You're going to give me gray hair before I'm 30. Probably. She laughed, but her eyes were serious. Then make sure you finish. Make sure you show them what humans are made of. The day before the course, something unexpected happened. Word came that a special observer would be watching the survival course. Someone important. They say Razor is coming, Doyen whispered. The Razor, the Vrexian legend, Taman had heard the name. Everyone had. Razor was the galaxy's most feared warrior, a Vrexian who had fought in over 200 battles. A soldier who had never retreated, never surrendered, never lost. His species, the Vrexians, were apex predators, the strongest, fastest, most dangerous beings in known space. Why would someone like that watch academy training? Taman asked. They say he's looking for recruits, for some special mission. Doyen looked worried. He's killed thousands, Taman. Entire armies fear him. That night, Taman stood at the window of his room looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there, a legend was traveling to watch cadets struggle through a survival course. The thought should have terrified him. Instead, Taman felt something else. Determination. If a legendary warrior was going to watch, then Taman would give him something worth seeing. He would show the galaxy that humans belonged here, that they were warriors too. The survival course began at dawn. Taman checked his gear one last time and headed to the starting area. 31 cadets gathered representing 12 species. All of them looked confident, strong, ready. Venick stood with his arms crossed, watching Taman with contempt. "Try to last at least an hour, human. Give us some entertainment." Taman didn't respond. He focused on the course ahead, visible through the transparent dome. Harsh terrain stretched for kilometers. Different environmental zones created pockets of extreme heat, cold, and toxic atmosphere. Predator drones lurked throughout, programmed to hunt and attack. 30 hours. That's all he had to survive. Commander Thross raised his hand. "Begin!" The cadets rushed forward. Taman took a breath and started running. Not the fastest, not the strongest, but he wouldn't stop, no matter what. The first hour was chaos. 31 cadets spread across the course, each choosing their own path through the brutal terrain. Taman watched the stronger cadets charge ahead, using raw power to smash through obstacles. Venick led the pack, his forearms making short work of climbing walls and rough terrain. Taman took a different approach. He studied each obstacle before attempting it, found easier paths, conserved energy. While others burned through their strength, he paced himself. "Viewers across the academy are watching," the announcement system said. "Current leader Venick Ashkor species. Notable performance by Kaltharian Vrix cadets. Human cadet Taman currently ranked 28th of 31 participants." In the command center, Commander Thross watched the monitors with other instructors. Razor stood in the back, silent. The legendary Vrexian warrior was massive, over 8 feet tall with gray skin covered in scars. His eyes were sharp, missing nothing. "The human will not last 6 hours," one instructor said. "Agreed," another replied. "Look at him." Already falling behind, Razor said nothing. He simply watched. Hour 3 brought the first real challenge. The toxic zone. A section of the course filled with yellowish gas that burned lungs and skin. Each cadet wore a breathing apparatus, but the gas still caused pain. Most species had thick skin that resisted it. Humans did not. Taman entered the zone and immediately felt burning sensation on his exposed arms and neck. His eyes watered. Every breath hurt, even through the mask. Other cadets pushed through quickly, ignoring the discomfort. Taman moved slower, but he kept moving. His body screamed at him to stop, to turn back. He ignored it. Pain was temporary. Quitting was permanent. By hour 6, 3 cadets had dropped out. The course was taking its toll. But the leaders remained strong. Venick, several Kalthari cadets, and a Vrix warrior maintained their pace. Taman was still in 25th place. Still going. Hour 9 brought extreme heat. The course passed through a thermal zone where temperatures reached dangerous levels. Cadets' cooling systems worked overtime. Species with thick hides struggled as their bodies overheated. Those with efficient cooling pressed their advantage. Taman started to climb in rankings. His body's cooling system, evolved for persistence hunting on hot savannas, worked perfectly. While others slowed, struggling with heat exhaustion, Taman maintained his pace. Sweat poured off him, but his core temperature stayed stable. "Interesting," Razor said in the command center. His first words since arriving. The instructors turned to look at him. "The human," Razor continued. "His cooling efficiency is superior." "Perhaps," Thross admitted grudgingly, "but efficiency means nothing without power." Razor's eyes stayed on the monitor showing Taman. "We shall see." Hour 12. Half the course complete, 20 cadets remained active. The rest had collapsed, been defeated by predator drones, or simply quit. Exhaustion was setting in for everyone except Taman. He was tired, certainly. His muscles ached. He'd taken damage from several predator drone encounters, but his pace hadn't changed. Step after step, hour after hour, never stopping. His body was built for exactly this kind of sustained effort. "He's in 15th place now," one instructor noted with surprise. "Lucky," another said. "The stronger cadets are tired. He's just maintaining the same slow pace, but it wasn't luck." Taman had studied the course design. He knew the pattern. The early sections rewarded strength and speed. The later sections rewarded endurance and adaptability. Every human advantage came into play in the second half. Hour 15. The cold zone. Temperatures dropped below freezing. Wind whipped through the area, carrying ice crystals that cut exposed skin. Many cadets struggled. Their homeworlds were warm, their bodies unprepared for extreme cold. Taman wrapped his jacket tighter and kept moving. Earth had polar regions. Humans evolved in various climates. Cold was uncomfortable, but not impossible. He passed 2 more cadets, both collapsed from cold-induced exhaustion. Hour 18. Only 8 cadets remained conscious and moving. Vanek led, but his pace had slowed noticeably. The other strong cadets were flagging. Their powerful muscles, so effective early on, now demanded enormous energy to maintain. Taman was in 4th place, and he looked terrible. Blood covered his arms from various cuts. His face was burned from the toxic gas. His clothes were torn, but his eyes stayed focused. His steps never faltered. In the command center, every instructor was watching now. The impossible was happening. A human was competing. His vital signs are concerning, the medical officer said, showing Taman's data. Elevated heart rate, multiple minor injuries, significant caloric depletion. Then why isn't he stopping? An instructor asked. Razor leaned forward. Because he is a warrior. True warriors do not stop. Hour 21. The Predator drone swarm. 10 drones attacked simultaneously, testing combat capability while exhausted. Most cadets could barely defend themselves at this point. Vanek fought off the drones but took serious damage. His movements were slow, sloppy. 2 other cadets were eliminated by the swarm. Taman didn't try to fight. He ran, dodged, used terrain and obstacles to lose the drones one by one. It took longer than fighting, but it conserved energy. And at this point, energy was everything. When the drones finally stopped pursuing, Taman collapsed against a wall, gasping. He checked his body. More cuts, bruised ribs, but nothing broken. Nothing that would stop him. He stood up and kept moving. Hour 24. Only Taman and Vanek remained conscious. 3 other cadets were still in the course but had collapsed, unable to continue. Medics were monitoring them remotely. Vanek was in bad shape. The powerful Ashkor warrior stumbled as he walked. His forearms trembled. His exoskeleton, normally gleaming, was cracked and dull, but he was still ahead of Taman. Still in first place, the final challenge loomed. A 300-meter vertical climb in extreme heat. The hardest part of the course. The part that broke even the strongest cadets. Vanek reached the base of the climb first. He looked up at the wall, then started climbing. His movements were mechanical, automatic. Training and instinct carrying him when conscious thought failed. He made it halfway. Then his arms gave out. Vanek clung to the wall, unable to move up or down. His body had finally hit its limit. Medical team, Thros ordered. Extract Vanek before he falls. Taman reached the base of the wall. He looked up, then at Vanek being slowly lowered by medical drones. Their eyes met for a moment. Vanek's expression held no contempt now. Only exhaustion and something else. Respect. Taman started climbing. His arms burned. His legs felt like they were made of lead. Every movement was agony. The heat pressed down on him like a physical weight. His vision blurred, but he climbed. In the command center, everyone stood. Instructors, medical staff, even Commander Thros, all watching the human cadet drag himself up the wall. He should stop, the medical officer said. His body can't take much more. Will he stop? Razor asked quietly. I don't know, Thros admitted. 50 meters up, Taman's hand slipped. He caught himself hanging by one arm. Pain shot through his shoulder. The same shoulder Vanek had injured in their first fight. For a moment he just hung there. Then he pulled himself up. Kept climbing 100 meters, 150, 200. Every instructor in the command center was silent, watching something they'd never seen before. A human doing the impossible. His species is weak, Razor said softly, but he is not. 250 meters. Taman's vision was almost gone. He climbed by feel now, by instinct. His body moved on autopilot. His mind focused on one simple truth. Humans don't quit. 275 meters. 25 to go. Taman's hand reached for the next grip. Missed. Reached again. Caught at 300 meters, the top. Taman's hand grabbed the final ledge. He pulled himself up and over. Collapsed on the platform. Course complete, the computer announced. Completion time, 28 hours, 17 minutes. Cadet Taman, human species. First human to complete the survival course in Academy history. In the command center, silence. Then slowly, one instructor started clapping. Another joined. Soon everyone was applauding, everyone except Razor. He simply smiled. Then he walked out of the command center, heading toward the course exit. Taman lay on the platform, barely conscious. Medical drones surrounded him, treating his injuries. He'd done it. Completed the course, proved humans belonged. As consciousness faded, his last thought was simple. They weren't laughing anymore. The announcement came 2 weeks after Taemin's meeting with Razor. A tournament. A grand demonstration of combat excellence to celebrate the Academy's founding anniversary. All cadets were invited to participate. The best fighters from each species would compete. Taemin knew immediately this wasn't a celebration. It was a test. A response to Razor's recognition of a human. They're trying to embarrass you, Doyen said, reading the tournament details. Look at the format. Individual combat against progressively harder opponents, then pairs against instructors. The final round is cadet versus instructor in full contact. Who decides the matches? Academy Command. Which means Commander Thros. Doyen looked worried. They'll match you against the strongest opponents. Make you look weak in front of everyone. Taemin stared at the announcement. Chancellor Orvax, a political leader who'd opposed human integration for years, was listed as the tournament sponsor. This was his move. Discredit Razor's judgment by showing how weak humans really were. I have to enter, Taemin said. That's exactly what they want. I know. But not entering would be worse. It would prove I'm afraid, that humans are afraid. That night, Taemin called his sister. Hana listened to his explanation, her face serious on the screen. This is a trap, she said, yes. But you're going anyway. Yes, she sighed. Then you need to train. Really train? I'm sending you combat files from the Terran Defense Archives. Human martial arts, military techniques, everything our species developed over thousands of years of warfare. Will it be enough? I don't know. But it's what we have. Use your brain, Taemin. You can't overpower them, but maybe you can outsmart them. The files arrived within the hour. Hundreds of videos showing human combat styles. Wrestling, boxing, various martial arts. Techniques designed by humans to fight humans. Methods that used leverage and positioning instead of raw strength. Taemin studied them obsessively. 3 days before the tournament, Razor appeared at the training room where Taemin practiced. The legendary warrior watched in silence as Taemin worked through grappling techniques. You train differently now, Razor observed. Yes, sir. Learning human combat methods. Show me. Taemin demonstrated a basic throw using a training dummy. The technique redirected force rather than opposing it directly. Razor nodded slowly. This is good. This is using your opponent's strength against them. My people have similar techniques, but we rely too much on our natural power. You have no choice but to be clever. Will it work against stronger species? In your first match, perhaps. But you will face Commander Thros in the final round. Taemin stopped moving. How do you know? Because that is what I would do. Put you against the strongest possible opponent. Show everyone that human spirit means nothing against Kalthari's strength. Razor walked closer. Thros has 4 arms. Armored scales. He outweighs you by 50 kilograms. He has fought in actual wars, I know. Good. Because knowing your enemy is half the battle. The other half is knowing yourself. Razor's eyes were intense. What are you, Taemin? I'm human. And what does that mean? Taemin thought about everything he'd learned. Everything he'd survived. It means I don't quit. It means I adapt. It means I last longer than anyone expects. Yes, remember that when you face Thros. He will try to end the fight quickly. Do not let him. Make it long. Make him tired. Then show him why persistence is its own kind of power. The tournament began on schedule. The arena was packed with cadets, instructors, and visiting officials. Chancellor Orvax sat in the place of honor, looking satisfied. This was his show. Taemin's first match was against a Vrix warrior, a species known for speed and aggression. The fight lasted 30 seconds. The Vrix attacked fast, but Taemin was faster at thinking. He used a sacrifice technique, taking a hit to get inside the alien's guard, then executed a perfect throw. The Vrix hit the mat hard and couldn't continue. The crowd murmured. That wasn't supposed to happen. Second match. A Kalthari cadet with 3 arms. This fight was harder. The alien was strong and well-trained. But Taemin stayed patient, wore down his opponent with constant movement, then exploited a moment of fatigue to secure a joint lock. The Kalthari tapped out. The murmuring grew louder. The human was winning. Third match. A massive warrior from a high-gravity world. This fight went badly at first. The alien's punches felt like being hit by shuttles. Taemin took serious damage. His nose broke. His ribs cracked. But he kept moving, kept dodging, kept making the alien chase him. 10 minutes in, the heavy worlder was breathing hard. 15 minutes, he was slowing. 20 minutes, his punches had no power behind them. Taman swept his legs and the giant crashed down, too exhausted to rise. Victory by endurance. In his observation box, Razor smiled. He learns. The semi-finals paired Taman against Venik, the Ashkor warrior who'd humiliated him weeks ago. But this time was different. Venik approached with respect, bowing formally before the match began. "You have earned honor," Venik said. "I will fight you as a warrior, not as a weak human." "Thank you." They fought hard. Venik was stronger, faster, more naturally skilled. But Taman had something Venik didn't. He'd survived the survival course. He knew what his body could endure. Every time Venik knocked him down, Taman got back up. Every time Venik thought the fight was over, Taman kept going. Finally, Venik made a mistake. Overextended on a strike. Taman caught his arm, used a technique from his sister's files, and threw Venik hard. The Ashkor hit the mat and stayed down. The crowd was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Soon, half the arena applauded while the other half sat stunned. Taman had reached the finals, against Commander Thros. The final match was scheduled for the next day. Taman spent the night in medical treatment, repairing his broken nose and cracked ribs. The medical staff worked efficiently, but they looked worried. "You should withdraw," the chief medical officer said. "Your body has taken too much damage. Another fight could cause serious harm." "I'll fight." "This is foolish." "Maybe, but it's necessary." The next morning, the arena was completely full. Every seat taken. Screens across the station showed the match. This wasn't just Academy entertainment anymore. The whole galaxy was watching. Commander Thros entered first and the crowd cheered. He was a legend at the Academy. Undefeated in instructor matches for 5 years. His forearms moved with practiced grace. His scales gleamed under the lights. Taman entered to mixed reaction. Some cheered. Many remained silent. All watched intently. "This will prove nothing," Chancellor Orvax announced from his box. "Strength will always triumph over luck." In another box, Razor stood with Admiral Myung. "Your cadet faces hard odds," Razor said. "Yes, but humans are used to hard odds." The match began. Thros attacked immediately, using all 4 arms in coordinated strikes. Taman dodged the first few, blocked others, took hits he couldn't avoid. The instructor was faster than expected. Stronger than any cadet. 2 minutes in, Taman was bleeding from a cut above his eye. His ribs screamed with pain. Thros was barely breathing hard. "Stop running, cadet," Thros commanded. "Fight like a warrior." Taman stopped retreating. He planted his feet and studied Thros's pattern. 4 arms meant complex coordination. Complex coordination meant predictable patterns. Every living thing fell into patterns. Thros struck with upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right. Always the same sequence. Fast, but always the same. Taman waited, dodged, observed. The crowd thought he was losing, but he was learning. 5 minutes in, Taman saw it. The tiny gap between lower right strike and upper left recovery, a fraction of a second where Thros was vulnerable. Next sequence, Taman didn't dodge. He stepped into the strikes, took hits from upper right and lower left, but got inside Thros's guard. Got his hands on the instructor's lower right arm. Then Taman did something Thros never expected. He used a human wrestling technique. Leverage against joint. Force applied precisely. Thros's lower right arm bent wrong. The instructor roared in pain and surprise. His coordination broke. 3 arms flailed while one hung useless. "Impossible!" someone shouted. The human used physics against him. Taman didn't stop. He pressed the advantage, swept Thros's legs. The massive instructor crashed down. Taman secured a position, controlling 2 of Thros's arms while the third couldn't reach properly. The arena went silent. "Yield," Taman said quietly. Thros struggled. But Taman's position was perfect. 4,000 years of human grappling knowledge evolved from species fighting species, proved stronger than raw power. "I yield," Thros said, disbelief in his voice. The arena exploded. Half cheered wildly. Others sat in shock. Chancellor Orvax looked furious. Admiral Myung was smiling. Razor stood and roared approval, a Vrexian battle cry that shook the arena. Taman released Thros and helped him stand. The instructor looked at him with new eyes. "How?" Thros asked. "Human technique. We've been fighting each other for a very long time." We learned to beat strength with intelligence. Thros nodded slowly. I was wrong about your species. You are warriors. Different warriors, but warriors nonetheless. The tournament ended with Taman standing in the center of the arena, battered and bleeding but victorious. Chancellor Orvax had already left, unable to watch his plan fail. That evening, Razor came to Taman's quarters. He carried something wrapped in cloth.